What's going on, guys? Love Smash, back with an all new video for you guys today, and in today's video I wanted to do my breakdown of the character silhouettes for the Kombat Pack 2. Now, as you guys know, Ed Boon posted up this photo last week. Everybody thought we were going to get a teaser trailer the next day. Unfortunately, that did not happen. However, we did find out we're getting 4 characters, a new stage, and a bunch of new skins coming as DLC in 2016. So over the past few days, I've been analyzing this photo, using different filters on it, trying to figure out the identity of these 4 characters, and I think I finally settled on which 4 I think they could be. Now, I was planning on getting this video out a few days ago, but I was very busy, not to mention I kept changing my picks very often, but I think I finally settled on the 4. So for this video, 2 very important things before we begin. The first one being, everyone interprets and sees things differently, so the characters I may see and think these are, some of you guys may see another character. Like I said, it's normal, everyone sees things in their own way, these are just my interpretations. And number 2, very important, there is the possibility that these aren't the true renders and silhouettes. We've seen things in the past, going back to Injustice and Mortal Kombat X. We've seen phony renders in there just to fool people, so they wouldn't give away the true identity. So there is the possibility that could be happening again. Remember at E3 with the character silhouettes, Ed Boon did state they were there just to intentionally troll people. So there is the possibility that could be happening again. We won't know until we officially get the teaser and find out which characters these are. Now, I'm not saying this definitely has happened, I'm just saying it's something you can't rule out. Because, as we all know, Ed Boon does love the troll. So with that all being said, let's dive in and try to figure out the identity of these 4 characters based on this photograph. Now, first up, starting all the way at the right, I seem to think it's this character, and a lot of other people seem to think so as well. Based on the render, you can see it's a kind of chubby and hefty character, and I think that is Borracho. Now, personally, I've never really been a huge fan of Borracho based on his design in the older games and his moveset. Now, I know he was meant to be comic relief, but he was just this big drunken slob that was puking and ripping ass on people, so it turned a lot of people off to his character. Now, with Mortal Kombat X, you can see his design is a lot different. He's slimmed down. He looks a lot better, in my opinion. I will go on record by saying that. And I think one way they could make Borracho better and fit in with MKX, which has a very dark tone to it, is either really tone down those puking and farting moves or just eliminate them completely. Don't get me wrong, they were funny, but they just get old very quick. And I feel like in a game with MKX, it's got this dark tone. We kind of have comic relief with Johnny Cage and Cassie already, where they have their smart aleck remarks and their interactions and stuff. But Borracho is supposed to be this wise, experienced warrior, a teacher to Liu Kang, so try to make him more like that rather than being a fat drunk slob. I mean, you could still give him drinking moves where he could take a swig from his flask and it can make him more nimble, or evade attacks more in one variation, or he can take a drink and it'll make him stronger. Just throwing out ideas there, but I think there's a lot that can be done with him to make him better than how he was in Deception or Deadly Alliance. The team is very creative, I'm sure they can think of something, but like I said, it all depends if he really is in the game. These could just be troll renders, we'll have to wait and see, but if Borracho's in the game, I think a lot of people may be upset if he's taking the spot of like a cyborg or another ninja, but if the team can do something different with him and make him unique and not a joke character, maybe he could be a good addition, but like I said, we'll have to wait and see. So for now, pick number 2, let's go all the way to the far left character. Now, many people do believe this could either be Noob or Smoke making a return. Now, I thought about that for a while, like the wrist maybe resembles Smoke or Noob, however the shoulders do not. You can kind of see there's bands wrapped around the bicep and the shoulder area, so I don't think it's one of them. The character who I believe it is Baraka. Now, when you look at Baraka's design, you can see he's got the thick wrist where the Tarkatan blades come out, he's got the ropes around his shoulder bicep area, which resemble the photo, not to mention the rounded head, and also you can kind of make out an ear on the side as well. So with all that, even the design of the clothing you can sort of make out, it just makes me think Baraka. So that's my prediction. Like I said, a lot of people may see Noob or Smoke there. Some people still think this could just be a render of Sub-Zero or Scorpion that Ed Boon is trying to troll with, but based on everything I mentioned, I do in fact believe this could be Baraka. Now moving on to pick number 3, and let's go back to the right, but the middle right, and this character I was going back and forth for a while. Originally, I thought this was Cyrax, but the more I looked at it, like you could see the top of the head is not perfectly rounded, where Cyborg, like a character would have a perfectly rounded head, it's very meticulous, but you can kind of see like this one's lopsided in a way. It's higher on the left side, then the right side's a little lower. So I went through every character and tried to figure out which one could have hair like that, and then it came to me. I do believe this is Fujin, and Fujin's inclusion as DLC would not be surprising, because the fans were very disgusted and they vocalized their opinion of why he was not included in the game to begin with as a playable character, and as we know, NetherRealm does listen to the fans. That's how Tremor was included, by the petition. So if the fans really did want Fujin and he was a character a lot of fans were disappointed that he wasn't in, it would not shock me if he was included as DLC. Now, like I said, I originally thought this was Cyrax. I took into account that maybe one of the wire braids that Cyrax has was making the top top of the head look a little lopsided, but the more I thought about it, the top of the head just resembled Fujin's hair more to me, and the sides with the ears, and Fujin has very big ears and sideburns. So as far as the top of the head goes, it looks pretty spot on to me. Now, I know a lot of people may argue and say, when you look at Fujin's armor on the shoulders, it's one flat solid piece, but when you look at the render from the photograph, there's this little dip in the middle. It goes up, down a little bit, and then back up. So a lot of people may say that's not Fujin. However, I was able to find another photo of Fujin where you kind of see his armor go straight, then down a little bit, and then back up. So I still think it's him based on all this. Like I said, I could be wrong. These are just my interpretations, but hopefully that is indeed Fujin to make a lot of fans happy if it was. Now moving on to the fourth and final character, and this is the one that's definitely been giving me, as well as a lot of people, the most trouble to try to figure out. I've been seeing people say this is Wolverine, and as you guys know, Ed Boon did deconfirm that, and I don't know why anyone would think that was Wolverine. He is a Marvel character, so I don't know why he would be in there. I've been seeing other people say Michael Myers or Sweet Tooth. Let's just forget about third-party guest characters for a second. Let's focus on Mortal Kombat characters only. So even though at first glance you might think this could be Kramer from Seinfeld, just kidding, guys. But if we're going by strictly Mortal Kombat characters, many fans believe this could either be Sindel or Rain, and this is just a phony render in there because Sindel and Rain both have very noticeable hairstyles where fans be able to pick that out. So a lot of people do think this is just a phony render covering it up, and it could be one of those characters. However, if this is indeed the true render, the only character I think that it could be, even though I'm not very confident in this decision, would be Frost. Now, Frost's hair, as you'll notice, goes straight up like that spiky look. But the thing you'll notice is on the render, it has these straggling hairs that stick out on the sides. Not to mention the body type looks a little bulkier than what Frost would have. As you can see from this photograph, Frost's shoulders are out more because of the armor there, but in the photograph, they go straight down. Unless they switched up her design drastically, kind of like with Tanya. As you know, she had a lighter skin tone when she was first announced, but then as time went by, she got a darker skin. Also, Tremor was fixed up a little bit as well. So that's a possibility, but of course, I am not as confident with my other three picks as I am with this one. Now, as you can see from this photo as well, there is this big blotchy spot blocking part of the face, so it really is difficult to tell on this one. And out of all four of my picks, this is the one I'm the least confident in. Now, with that being said, Frost's inclusion in MKX would not bother me if she really was in the game. I've always liked her. She was one of the 3D characters from Deadly Alliance and Deception that always stuck out to me. But I know a lot of fans really do dislike her, but there are just as many fans that do like her. She's always split the community in half. Now, if she was to be included, I'm sure they could do things to make her different than Sub-Zero, make her more unique, even though a lot of fans would just argue and say, no, she's just a clone of Sub-Zero, that's it, they can't do anything with her. But remember, the team is very creative, so you got to keep that in mind. But, like I said, there is the chance that this is just a phony render that was put in there just to throw people off the trail of the real character that's going to be revealed, or there's a possibility that this could be a character that's never been playable in a previous game before. Just like with Tremor. Tremor was never playable in any previous Mortal Kombat games, but he's playable in MKX. So maybe the development team saw a character and they said, you know what, let's make this character playable. Or option number two, maybe there's a possibility that a character that started out as a rumor or a background character in a previous game was actually turned into a full-fledged fighter. There's been many instances like this in the past where characters that were background characters or rumors or characters that were intentionally put in the game to mess with people, like Ermac started out as a rumor, Scarlet and Blaze were background characters, and Rain was put in MK3 by Ed Boon just to mess with people, and then he was made into a character in Ultimate MK3. I'm not saying this definitely has happened, I'm just saying, hey, maybe it's a possibility we can't rule out. I mean, for all we know, maybe this is a new design for Tassia. We saw her in the MK comic, and that was an early part of the timeline, so maybe this is her newer design, and she has this spiky hair, or hell, maybe this is finally the inclusion of Hornbuckle, who started out as a background character in the Pit stage in MK2 fighting Blaze, and as you guys know, Ed Boon has been teasing the Pit 2 stage, so maybe he's trying to tell us two things. I don't know, just a possibility you can't rule out. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. What do you think about these four picks? I'm still not confident in the Frost one, but the other three I'm pretty sure about. Let me know in the comments who you think these four characters are. And remember, these were just my predictions and my interpretations. You guys are going to have different ones. Not to mention, remember, these could also be placeholders that Ed Boon put in there just to troll people. We won't know until we actually get the trailer, which Boon has stated will be released at some point. And by the way, if you guys want to know my personal picks for the Kombat Pack 2, they would be Baraka, Fujin, Cyrax, and either Sindel or Serena. I think we need a female rep, and those are the two I can think of who are on my original video. If you guys would like to see, I'll drop the link to that in the comments and description of my picks for the Kombat Pack 2. But anyway, let's talk about other DLC. We're also getting skins as well. So what are some possible skins we may get? First up, for all the MKX newcomers, maybe we could see some more costumes for them, because they only have one each. So, for example, maybe Cassie and Jackie could have ones modeled off their older looks from the comic with that tank top and the short shorts. And then for the newcomers in the Combat Pack 1, like Jason, Tanya, Predator, and Tremor, maybe we could see some more costumes added for them as well. There's many variations and types of Predators, so they could do ones designed after them. And then there's Jason. They could do one modeled after his Friday the 13th Part 2 design with the sack on his head, or Jason X. Now with variations, that may be a little difficult, but I'm sure they could pull it off. And Tanya also has classic skins from MK4 and MK Deception as well. And speaking of Deception and Deadly Alliance also, maybe there's a chance we could see skins brought over from that game into MKX, like Deception skin for Sub-Zero, or Scorpion, or Melina, or even a Deadly Alliance one for Johnny Cage and Sonya, or Jax. Who knows, just throwing out ideas here. However, I feel like they may want to save stuff like that for MK11, but who knows, maybe they could include them in MKX. And by the way, I'm not saying all these skins will definitely be in the game, I'm just throwing out ideas here. And last but not least, we also are getting a new stage. As you guys know, Ed Boon had tweeted these photos, leading a lot of people to believe that the Pit 2 stage is going to return. It has not been officially confirmed yet, but it does seem like that will happen at some point as well. But we'll just have to wait for the official announcement to find out for ourselves. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think about any of this stuff. Do you, in fact, think those characters will end up being in the Combat Pack 2 as DLC? Do you think there are other characters and they're going to be different? Do you think Ed Boon is trolling with those silhouettes, or they are actually legitimate and the real characters are behind them? And what about the predictions for the costumes? Which costumes or skins would you like to see or think we will end up getting? And about the Pit 2 stage, do you think that will be the stage returning, or do you think it will be something different? Let me know in the comments about anything I mentioned. Please feel free. But anyway, guys, that is the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And like always, if you want the latest fighting game news and speculation, be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with a brand new video.